Children, I hope you have gone through my previous video, and today we will continue further. Children, this is the second video on the chapter Structure of Atom. Now before we proceed further, we need to know a few things like orbit, subshell, orbitals, because these are the terms that will be used throughout in this chapter, and you need to be very clear in your mind exactly what is the difference between these three terms. Now, orbit is a well defined circular path around the nucleus in which the electron revolves. Okay, so orbit is the place where electron moves around the nucleus in one plane. Orbits are represented by letters K, L, M, N, etc., or by numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, etc. Next term is subshell. Now, orbit is the circular path in which the electron is rotating. Subshell, they are given by the letters small s, p, d and f, which have either like S has 2 electrons, P has 6 electrons, D has 10 electrons and F has 14 electrons. Now subshells are present inside the orbit. 4 types of subshells are there: S, P, D and F. Next term is orbital. Inside the subshell there is a region in 3-dimensional space around the nucleus where probability of finding an electron is maximum. Alright, so that area or region is called as orbital. Like for example, subshell S has 1 orbital, subshell P has got 3 orbitals, D has got 5 orbitals and F has got 7 orbitals. Orbitals, they are of different shapes. Energy of all the orbitals of a given subshell is equal. What does it mean? That, like I told you, for the S, so there is only 1 orbital, so there is no problem. But in P, there are 3 orbitals. So all the 3 orbitals will have same energy. But D has 5 orbitals. Again, all 5 orbitals of D will have same energy. But orbital of D will have different energy from orbital of P. Okay, they are called degenerate orbitals. Now next, once you have understood this, let's move on to the next, that is quantum numbers. The quantum number is defined as set of 4 identification number which gives the complete information about electron in an atom, like where the location of the electron, energy of the electron, shape of electron, spin of electron, etc. So there are 4 quantum numbers which give you the entire information about the electron. First quantum number is principal quantum number. Principal quantum number is represented by alphabet small n. Okay. Now this quantum number, it tells you the distance of electron from the nucleus. Greater the value of n, greater will be the distance of shell from the nucleus. And a higher value or greater value of n signifies that the energy is also more. So maximum number of electrons which can be present in a principal energy shell is given by formula 2n square. What is the formula? It is 2n square. So this is the formula. Suppose value of n is 1. So what will be the value in that case? If n is equal to 1, how many electrons will be there? There will be only 2 electrons. But if a value of electron is n is 2, then What will be the number of electrons in that case? 2 square is 4. 4 into 2, 8. So this way, by this formula, you can calculate. So the first principal shell, that is K, which has value 1, has got only 2 electrons. After K comes L. L has value of N equal to 2. So it will have 8 electrons. Third one, what is the third? After KL, you have M. So M 3 square, that is 9 into 2, 18. So the third shell has got 18 electrons, and so on. You can calculate the number of shells. Even the angular momentum can also be calculated by using the principal quantum number. The second quantum number, it is the azimuthal or subsidiary quantum number. It is represented by the alphabet small l. Now this describes the spatial distribution of electron cloud and angular momentum of the electron. What does it mean? It tells about the shape of orbital occupied by the electron. For any given value of n, azimuthal quantum number L can have values ranging from 0 to n minus 1. So suppose n is 1. So what will be the value of L? 0 to n minus 1. See, if n is 1, value of L will be 0. N minus 1 is 0. 1 minus 1, 0. If value of n is 2, then value of L will be 0 and 1. Because n minus 1, 2 minus 1 is 1. So it can be 0 or it can be 1. Same way, if it is 3, n is 3, value of L will be 0, 1, 2. 4, value of L will be 0, 1, 2, 3. The 1 less than n. Okay, and subshell, in this case, 1s. When it is 0 and 1, it will be 1s and 2s and 2p. Then 0, 1, 2, it will be 2s, 3p, 3d. Alright. It will not be 2s, this should be 3s. 3s, 3p, 3d. There is a mistake over here. This, I cannot correct it here. It is 3s, 3p and 3d. Same way, when it is 3 over here, this will be 4s, 4p, 4d and 4f. And for 4, it will be 5s, 5p, 5d and 5f and so on. These are the subshell notations. Alright. Next, energy of various subshells in the same shell, that increases from S to P, then to D and F. S has the minimum energy, then P, then D and then F. F has maximum energy. Magnitude of angular momentum of electron in orbital, that is given by a formula mvr is equal to h upon 2 pi under root 1 into L plus 1. So h is Planck's constant here. You know, r is radius, v velocity, m is mass. For subshell, L is equal to 0. For subshell, H subshell, L will be, like I told you, S is 1. So L is 0. So angular momentum here, anything multiplied by 0 comes to be 0. For P subshell, P may N is 2, L is 0 or 1. So if we take L is equal to 1, angular momentum becomes H, see 1 into 1 plus 1, that is 2. So it becomes H under root 2 upon 2 pi. Alright, so in this way you can calculate the angular momentum. Now S, P, D and F are spectral terms. They signify sharp, principal, diffused and fundamental. S means sharp, P means principal, D is diffused and F is fundamental. Now maximum number of electrons that can be accommodated in S is 2, in P 6, in D 10, and in F 14. So this quantum number helps to explain the 5 lines of spectrum. I told you in the previous video about the lines of spectrum. Lyman series, bracket series, Fund series, Bastian series, all those I told you now. So they can be explained by using this quantum number. The next quantum number is magnetic or orbital quantum number. Now magnetic quantum number, it is represented by small m or ml. It explains Zeeman effect. Magnetic quantum number determines number of orbitals in a subshell. Value of m is given by 2l plus 1. What is m? M is 2l plus 1. See here. When n is equal to 0, L will be 0, M will become 0, because 2 into 0 plus 1, that is also 0. So there will be only one value. Okay. But if it is P subshell, value of L will be 1. And M can range from minus L to plus L, that is minus 1, 0, plus 1. So there are 3 values. 2L plus 1 makes it 3. So 3 means there are 3 what? Orbitals. Px, Py and Pz. Same way for D orbital, D subshell, what you get? L is 2. Value of M will range from minus 2, minus 1, 0, plus 1, plus 2. Okay, it is from minus L to plus L. That is the range of the value. So minus 2, minus 1, 0, plus 1, plus 2. In total there are 2L plus 1 makes it 5. There are 5 values. It implies that the D orbital has got 5. D subshell has got 5 orbitals. What are those? dxy, dyz, dxz, dx square minus y square, and dz square. We will be studying about the shape orbitals in detail later on. Then if it is F subshell, value of L will become 3. M will range from minus 3 to plus 3. So you get minus 3, minus 2, minus 1, 0, 1, 2, 3. There are 7 values. So 7 is the 2L plus 1 also gives you 7. So there are 7 F orbitals. Alright. Next quantum number is the spin quantum number. Now spin quantum number is designated by the letter small s or ms. Now the magnetic spin quantum number, it describes the direction of the spin of the electron. Now spin can have only 2 directions. Either it can move in clockwise direction or it can move in anti-clockwise. Like for a given value of m, only 2 values of spin quantum number are possible, plus m, plus half or minus half. These values of s are also represented by either an upward arrow. For plus half it is an arrow facing upwards, and for minus half it is a downward arrow. And spin angular momentum is given by the formula h upon 2 pi under root s into s plus 1. Its value does not depend on n, l or m. Its value depends only on s. Alright. So these are the 4 quantum numbers. Next we come to shape of orbitals. Now in this, first we will study about the s orbital. Like you can see in the figure over here, the s orbital, they don't have any directional character. and they have a spherical shape. Energy and size of s orbitals depends upon the value of n. So like the value of n increases, so does the energy. So 1s will have less energy compared to 2s. 2s will have less energy than 3s. 3s has less energy from 4s, and so on. The region where probability of finding the electron is 0 is called nodes. See, these are the nodes. These are the regions where probability of finding electron is 0. So they are called as node or nodal surface. So this is all, you no need to go too much into detail, but you must know that the nodes are the points where probability of finding electron is 0. Now next type of orbital is p orbital. Like I told you, s orbital can accommodate only 2 electrons. Alright. P orbitals, on the basis of probability calculation, it is found that the probability of finding p electron is maximum in 2 lobes on the opposite side of nucleus, giving rise to dumbbell shape. So for a given value of n, orbitals px, py, pz have equal energies, that is, the degenerate orbitals, they have equal energy and they have a directional character. Energy and size of p orbital increases in the order 2p has lesser energy than 3p, which has lesser energy than 4p, and which has lesser energy than 5p. In general, the p orbitals, if you look at their shape, see over here, p orbitals, this is px orbital, so the dumbbell shape is around the x-axis. Py orbital, dumbbell shape around the y-axis, and z orbital, dumbbell shape around the z-axis. The nodal plane of px is y-axis and z-axis. There is probability of finding electron is least along y-axis and z-axis. For py, nodal plane is x and z. For pz, nodal plane is x and y. Alright, so these are the p orbitals. Next type of orbitals we have, they are called as d orbitals. Now d orbitals, there are 5 of them. Okay, p orbitals were only 3. So p orbital could accommodate only 6 electrons. Now d orbitals, there are 5 d orbitals. They have same energy. They are also degenerate orbitals. They are double dumbbell shaped. dx, dy and dz orbitals have identical shape. See over here, dx, dxy, this is along x, between x and y axis, you have dxy. Then dyz, it is between y axis and z axis. And this is dzx, it is along x, between z axis and x axis. So they have the same type of shape, double dumbbell shape. P was single dumbbell, they are double dumbbell shape. Alright. Apart from that, they have a dz square orbital which has 2 lobes. dz square, it has got 2 lobes which lie along z axis, and a ring of high electron. This is the ring of high electron density in xy plane. Okay, so actually it is a donut shape. Then we have dx square minus y square. It has 4 lobes which lie along x-axis and y-axis. See, in these on the up, these 3, dxy, dyz and dzx, the lobes were in between the 2 axes, but in dx square minus y square the lobes are along the x and y axis, and in dz square there is only a single dumbbell shape and there is a ring of electron cloud. Alright, so these are the 5 d orbitals, and these each orbital can accommodate 2 electrons each. So in total d orbitals can have maximum of 10 electrons. Then you come to next type of orbitals. They are the f orbitals. The structure of f orbital cannot be shown in 2 dimensions because it is a very complicated structure, can be studied only in 3 dimensions. So there is no need to study the structure in detail. What you need to remember is that there are 7 orbitals and each orbital can accommodate 2 electrons. So in total f orbitals can accommodate 14 electrons. Okay, next we come to the principles for filling up of electrons in a shell. So first principle is Pauli's exclusion principle. This principle states that no 2 electron in an atom can have same set of all 4 quantum numbers. You've studied about 4 quantum number: principal quantum number, azimuthal quantum number, magnetic quantum number and spin quantum number. So these 4 quantum numbers, they cannot be same for any 2 electrons. There has to be some difference. If nothing else, if everything else is same, then you'll find that one electron will be having plus half spin, other will be having minus half. Okay, so if nothing else, then the spin of the electron will be in opposite directions. So no 2 electrons in an atom, when you're talking about electrons of the same atom, can have same set of all 4 quantum numbers. This is Pauli's exclusion principle. Now next we come to electronic configuration of atom. Distribution of electrons in various energy shells, subshells and orbitals in an atom in ground state is called as electronic configuration. There are a few rules which are followed in electronic configuration. First is Aufbau's principle. Now Aufbau principle, what does it state? According to this principle, the subshell with minimum energy is filled first, and when the minimum energy subshell is completely filled, only then the next one starts filling. Alright, so in this case what it tries to say is the subshell with n plus L values will possess lower energy and will be filled first if value of n plus L for 2 subshells is same. Then the electron will enter the subshell having lower value of n. This is known as n plus L rule. So Aufbau principle follows the n plus L rule. So if you look at the diagram that is given, see the different orbitals, the order in which they are filled up is first 1s orbital will be filled. For 1s orbital, value of n is 1 and value of s is 0. Alright, then next 2s orbital will be filled. So n plus L will become for 1s only 1. Next 2s orbital is filled, value of n is 2 and s is 0. So you get n plus L is equal to 2. After that, if you look at 3s and 2p, 2p has value of n, p for 2p has n is equal to 2 and p has value L, value of L is 1. So N plus L is 3. And 3s में, if you see, 3s has value of N 3 and S 0. So 3s and 2p both have value, N plus L value 3. But which is the one which will be filled first? See, 2p also has N plus L 3 and 3p also has N plus L 3. So in such a circumstance where both of them have equal N plus L value, the N value of the orbital which is less, that is here in this case it is 2p. So first 2p will be filled and then the electron will go to 3s. Alright, same way here if you see 3p and 4s both have N plus L is equal to 4. 3p mein if you see N is 3 and p is 1 makes it 4. In 4s N is 4, S is 0 makes it 4. But which one will be filled first? 3p will be filled first, 4s will be filled later on. In the next stage you see 3d, 4p and 5s all have N plus L values 5. So in this case first 3d will be filled, then 4p will be filled and then 5s. But before 3d 4s is filled because for 4s N plus L value is 4. So this you have to keep in mind that whichever orbital has lesser N plus L value, that will be filled first. That is the Aufbau's principle. Another rule for filling up of electrons or for electronic configuration is Hund's rule of maximum multiplicity. It says that as far as possible, number of unpaired electrons in orbitals of given subshell is maximum and unpaired electrons have parallel spin. So what is the meaning of this? See, for carbon where atomic number is 6, first 1s will be filled and the only two electrons can be accommodated and one will have upward arrow spin and the other will have downward arrow spin. After that, next to be filled will be 2s, again upward arrow and downward arrow. Then we have p orbital which can have 6 electrons, but how many are left with us? 2 and 2, 4 have already been filled, so we are left only with 2 electrons. So first every orbital will be filled with one electron having same spin. So both these will have upward arrow. In case of oxygen, 2 will be filled here in 1s, 2 in 2s. Then in p orbital, 3 electrons will go one each to 2px, 2py and 2pz. So that makes it 2 plus 2 4 and 3 7, and then the 8th electron will go to 2px and that 8th electron will have opposite spin. So this is the Hund's rule. It says that first every electron, if there are orbitals having same energy level, so every orbital will get one electron each with parallel spin, and after that only the pairing will take place with opposite spin. Okay, so these you have to remember when filling up orbitals with electrons. Now next there is one more thing, that is stable configuration. Half filled and fully filled configurations are more stable than incompletely filled. Okay, for example, if you see the electronic configuration of chromium. Chromium has atomic number 24. So filling is done like this. First 1s is filled, so 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p6, 4s2 and then 3d4. But this configuration is unstable. So what happens is that instead of 4s2 one electron from 4s jumps to d orbital and you have 4s1 3d5. In this case, both S is also half filled and D is also half filled. So this configuration is a stable configuration compared to 4s2 3d4, and this is the state in which chromium atom is found. Similarly, for copper, atomic number 29, filling is done like this: 1s2 2s2 2p6 3s2 3p6. It should be 4s2 3d9, but 4s2 3d9 will give you incompletely filled orbitals. So in its place, a more stable configuration of 4s1 3d10 is there. Okay. There are few more examples, like in case of ions, what happens? The electron is lost from the outermost shell. Like if you look at iron, atomic number is 26. Filling of electron is done: 1s2 2s2 2p6 3s2 3p6 3d6 4s2. First 4s2 is filled, then d orbital is filled. Alright, but when ion is being formed, like in case of Fe2+, during filling, first S is filled, 4s is filled, then the remaining electrons go to 3d. But at the time of losing electron, the one which is farthest, that is the fourth shell, is the farthest, is the one which is most away from the nucleus. So electron will be lost not from 3d but from 4s. So Fe2+ configuration becomes 1s2 2s2 2p6 3s2 3p6 and 3d6. Similarly, for Fe3+, first two electrons will be lost from 4s and then the third one will be lost from 3d. So you get 1s2 2s2 2p6 3s2 3p6 and 3d5. So electrons are lost from their valence shell, and then if more are needed, then from n-1 d electrons are lost. Okay. So this is about the chapter. Try to go through the written matter that is provided to you and to the question answers that are given in the book behind the chapter.